Awesome. Now let's begin to design the layout by designing the landing page first, which landing screen, which is our first screen among the four. So to do that, we'll start from the entry point, which is the main dot. So the main dot comes with a default code base that we will update and delete by starting with setting the title of the material up to coding AI. Next, we're going to delete the class my homepage class because we won't need that. We'll create our own class, and then we're going to head over to our lib and create a folder called screens. This folder will hold all our screens that we're going to design. Screens. Then inside we're going to create a file called landing screen.dat. This is the one that's going to hold the code that we're going to create the landing screen. We'll create a stateful widget by setting stfl and call the class name landing screen. So inside the widget build, it comes with the widget container. So we'll set ours to scaffold because we're creating a full screen. But it won't have an up bar, it will just have the body. And from our design, we have the body comes with 3 widgets at the center and a button at the bottom. So our widgets are aligned vertically, so we'll need the column widget. So we'll set the column widget, and then we're going to add our widgets inside the children. I'm setting the icon first. The icon is the first widget at the top, which holds the icon type icons.code, shows the sign of a code, and we'll set a large size of 50. So we have something there. So we'll head over to our main.dat and replace the home to call the landing screen. So if we save that, we'll see in our app we're able to see our landing screen, although the alignment is off. So now let's work on that. We've also set the debug show checked banner to false, which is not necessary. Great. So next thing, we're going to set the main axis alignment property on the column widget to center, just to center our widgets because they are at the center. And next, however much I'm trying to use a cross-axis alignment, it's not going to work. So let's just remove that. And then the many ways of centering you can use. When you're using column, it has the properties that you can use to center. If you are using, you can also use the center widget. There's also when it comes to text widgets, you can use the text align, and also there's an align widget. So there are many options, but as we go on, you'll see how the screen will turn out. Next, we're going to create the next widget, which is the text widget. This text widget will hold our headline, and instead of setting the string inside the file, we're going to, inside the landing screen class, we're going to set a specific file called constants.dat that will hold our strings. So we're setting the headline as const string headline is equals to write code now. So let's pick the headline and set it up. Once we have set it up, it will create an error because we haven't imported the constants.dat, which we have. Awesome. On the app, we are now able to see our headline. Next, we're going to add the tagline, which is the third widget. We'll also set it on the constants.dat. So we'll head over to constant.dat, set const string tagline is equals to, it's the long sentence, the long line of words that are displayed in the design, just to describe what the app is all about, which is efficient. So it's a tool that uses artificial intelligence to assist developers in real-time coding. In this case, we're using the OpenAI Codex to help us generate these codes right from our app, right from the comfort of our phone. So that's the idea. So we have set our tagline and we're able to see it on our screen, which is awesome. Next thing we're going to now, because there's one more widget that's remaining, which is the button, which is at the bottom, which you'll notice within the design that it's similar throughout all the screens. So I'll show you how to do that. So we've set the padding to on the icon so that it's separate and to create space within the 3 widgets. We've also set padding on the headline so that there's also space, and set a style. Since it's a headline, we'll set a font weight or make it bold so it pops out and create that difference between the first text widget and the second. Next, we're going to set the font size. Great. And next we're going to look at the tagline. For the tagline, we're just going to set the font size and just set a padding so that the text does not start right from the border of the screen, the font screen. So there'll be some padding inside, and then we'll set the font size to 16. Great, it looks better. Awesome. So our screen is coming up well. Next thing is we're going to, since we're just remaining with a few with just one button, however much you're using the center, as I mentioned, the many ways to center widgets. I've tried the center widget itself, it's not working, neither is a cross alignment. The first two widgets are centered. It's the last one that's quite difficult, but we can also use text align within the text widget to make it work. But until then, let's now focus on the last widget, which is the button that's at the bottom. So the idea is, since the design of that button is the same throughout the layout, we're going to create a specific class that will hold that button, and then we reuse it within the application. So to do that, we'll create a new file called bottom-button.dat. And in this class, we're going to create a stateful widget, and there's a reason why we're using stateful widget and not stateless. I'll explain as we go on. It comes with the widget build returns a container. So what we want to return is an elevated button. So because elevated button, Flutter comes in with 3 types of buttons. There's elevated, there's outlined, and there's text button. But what we need is an elevated button. According to our design, that's an elevated button. So it will come with an icon. So Flutter comes in with an elevated button dot icon. If you want features, if you want to design an icon inside a button. So we'll set the style. We're using elevated button dot style from, and we'll set a fixed size for it. And also we're going to shape it. We want to shape the borders and give it a border radius. Awesome. So the idea of this screen is just to welcome the user. Since it's called a landing screen, it's when the app runs, it's what's displayed first, and so the button will it's a way of introducing the user to inside the app. And you find that the next screen is a playground, which is the main part of the app. So basically that's what the landing screen is for. It's just to welcome the user. Awesome. So next we're going to just set the on press, but we won't define it yet, not now. Then we're going to set the label. So elevated button.icon comes with 2 properties, the label and the label is the one that holds the text widget, and then there's the icon, which holds the icon that you want to set. If it's elevated button without icon, there's no label, there's no icon, you just have the child property. Awesome. So we're going to set icons.arrow right just to direct where we're going next. That's why we're using the arrow right. And then we're going to set a size so that it's a little big, and for one to be able to see. So as usual, whenever there's we need to add const if it's just text that has been set with hard-coded text. Now when you go back to our landing screen, we're going to set the bottom up bar with a child bottom button that we have created. We import it into our class. Awesome. So the beauty of this is that as we go on creating these other screens, you'll find that the only thing we need to do is just call this class. And the reason why we set the class to stateful widget is because we're going to pass some props. That's the reason why. So that's why we're not using the stateful widget. Awesome. So we're going to change our bottom navigator. We set it to bottom navigator instead of bottom navigation bar. And as you can see from our screen, we now have our button. So let's just make it a little visible because it's starting from one end to the other. So we can head over to our bottom button and set a padding. The padding will suit it, right? So the padding will bring it to the inside the app a little bit, and you'll be able to see its definition, what we have set, for example the border radius and all. Awesome. Now you can even see the icon that we have set. It's quite big and it's directing us to the right, meaning it's a way of like alluring the user to get into the app. So we're going to also set the what else? We're going to set the text because we've set it as text here, but we want it to say see what's possible. We're going to do the same thing as the other text that we have done. We're going to define a variable called landing button, and this variable will just hold that specific text. So we'll say const string. So the beauty of this is that in case we decide to change, because we are planning to make this app to be full-fledged, right? In case we need to change anything, and it's very easy to come over to the constant. So it's a matter of changing text and all. You just have to edit one file only. Great. So we have see what's possible, and we have come all the widgets are in the screen, which is really cool. Next, just to close in, let's just increase the font size of the button text so it's seeable. Awesome. What else? We can set the color of the icon, just to give it a brand color of some sort, nothing fancy. So we'll set one specific brand color that we can go with throughout the project. And so you can also set the color on the constants.dart. So we're setting a variable of type color and giving it the color 0x ff38 b6 ff. Great. Then we just pick it and paste it. Awesome. Next, let's see. We did set the headline to font size 14, which doesn't make, yes, so 24 is best. Actually, by default, text widgets come, or text in text widgets come in font size 14. So there was no change I was doing when I set the font size to 14, but now it's perfect with 24, so it looks more of a headline. What else? I'm really trying to align this tagline. If you recall, I mentioned align widget is also another way of aligning a widget to the center, but still no success. So those are 3 down. Okay, so yeah, I think but all in all, everything is set. All the widgets are there. Our code is clean, and I think we can head over to the next one.